Okay, welcome everybody to today's Rotary meeting. We've got a president's meeting afterwards, so I see a lot of new faces here, and a couple people are out at the salad bar, so they'll be coming in here in just a minute. If I could ask David Spivey to give us the invocation.
All right, I'm going to lead us in the Rotary prayer. Open our eyes that we may see, open our ears that we may hear, touch our hearts that we may love, clear our minds that we may think, strengthen our hands that we may work. Amen.
Okay, I'm going to call on Laura Scott. She is now taking over from Van as our Sergeant at Arms.
Thank you for having me make my debut as the Sergeant of Arms today. I always wanted to be a sergeant. So this is very exciting. I want to welcome a few visitors today. We have, of course, our guest leading the program today is Miss Keisha Durr, and she's a guest with Crystal Lambert today. So welcome. And it looks like we have a few visitors today, which is always lovely. We have a few friendly faces from Sanford. Let's welcome Tommy and his lovely daughter Amber Rosser today. And we have John Taylor, also from Sanford. All right, and we have a few out-of-towners, which is wonderful. Visiting us all the way from Utica, New York, Rotary Club, are John and Nancy Frost.
One more year there.
We have a few other folks from within our region as well, so I'd like to welcome from Pittsboro, from their new club, Eric Andrews. And from Silent City, from my neck of the woods, we have Laura Clapp. Next, I'd like to welcome any other announcements that may not have made it onto my list. The one that's on the list that we want to make sure we let Bill Stone know about any makeups. If you're doing any makeups, you're watching YouTube, please let Bill know so he can keep track of you. Any other announcements this morning? Okay, we've got something from David. Wonderful.
Our company prints local and ACC and some pro football schedules every year, so there's a bunch of them on the table back there. If you want one, pick it up on your way out.
Thank you, David.
Wonderful. Okay, something from the former Presidente himself.
Thank you so much. We'll pass the tip jar around one more time for the wait staff. So slide that around one more time to that.
Wonderful. Let's give
We're going to do it
generously.
again next week and then...
Next week and the week. Okay. Correct.
I saw a couple of other hands floating around. Do we have other announcements?
I've got a few.
Great. Okay, Doug. Wonderful.
Was that?
That's all I have.
I'll
Oh,
do
we got
that
a.
after your report.
Sure, we got a. We have a finger over here. Anybody over here? Folks, Terry.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Bring it.
Okay. Miss Yvonne has an announcement.
I'm inviting ladies for a lunch on Tuesday, 1 o'clock at Cafe 121. And if any of you have ladies that you would like to have introduced to Rotary our club, please tell them so that they can be part of our lunch.
Wonderful. They will be in very good company, as myself and Yvonne will, of course, be there. So all ladies who lunch, come join us. What else? Doug, we're talking about tomorrow? Tomorrow night?
Yeah, tomorrow night, we're having Third Friday Art Walk, which is a family of Rotary event. I talked about this the last 2 weeks, but from 6 to 8 p.m. Do you want to give us a little more detail about it?
Sure. So I'm not really, I don't remember now what the flyer says. I haven't looked at it in a few weeks, but we have a Third Friday Art Walk in downtown Tyler City, and we have the Arts Incubator, which started up many years ago now, and lots of small studios all in the downtown area. So the third Friday of each month in the warmer summer months, and into it starts in the spring and goes into the fall, we close down some of those downtown streets. We have a band on the Rotary stage, and the small studios, most of them will stay open into the evenings. There are food trucks there, and lots of folks come out and have something to eat. We're going to host a dessert table. And I put on the flyer where this is going to be, but the Arts Incubator has different rooms inside of it. One of them they call the classroom. And so we're gonna have a banner, and it's gonna say private event, and have the Rotary logo, and it'll say Rotary Club and the logo. That's where we go. And so we're gonna host a dessert table, so if you wanna get something, if you wanna eat before you come, or get something to eat there. And then we're gonna have a dessert table. There's been a mention of wine and beer. I don't know if that happened, because I've been out of the country, and I've just gotten back, and I don't know what the committee decided on. So there could be, so I'll make you that slim promise. I don't really know.
Yeah, so I'll
But
pass this
parking
around.
is just gonna be in the general area. There's lots of small side streets. Clap Brothers Tractor is minding my husband's business that's nearby. It'll be closed, so if you'd like to park there, you're welcome to park there as well. And I'll let him know. We won't tow anyone.
There's always parking available
Oh,
downtown. It's just
lots
not,
of- there's
we
lots
wish
of
it were
good
more
downtown.
populous, but it just isn't.
There's lots of
Yeah,
good downtown.
and if the club isn't providing wine and beer, there's usually by
Oh,
the
there
glass
is.
or by the bottle,
The beer-
sometimes a brewery or so, and you can buy by the glass, and that supports the arts incubator, so that's always nice as well. We'll be there.
Bragging rights.
And who has brags? Who's got something they want to brag about?
Here's the band.
I know we have lots of proud
Come
folks around
on.
here. Who's got a buck for a brag?
There's gotta be a couple of brags out there.
I got lots to brag about, I just don't have any
It's the
bucks.
first bragless Rotary meeting.
I know, I'm pretty quiet out there. Hopefully you're saving your bucks for the tip jar and for the 50/50.
No, we got one, Laura.
Oh, here we go. Oh, we got a buck. Here we
John's got
go.
one.
All right.
My wife and I were married 50 years.
That goal last Saturday.
A long time.
Better watch it.
Number right. I know it's there.
Let me have that dollar.
There we go. That's good. All right, here we go. And the always kind Larry lent me $1 so that I can brag on this club. I'm delighted to stand up in front of you all and be on YouTube for a second since, you know, I'm a rising YouTube star in my own mind. And happy to be Sergeant of Arms today and to give Van a break. Let's put a brag in for me.
Yeah, Van's on vacation.
Yep, there we go. So
Thanks,
hopefully he's
Laura.
enjoying himself. There we go. Perfect. Anything else? Okay, thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Yeah, a couple other announcements. Tommy Rosser has got us a Rotary Leadership Institute on September the 8th. Now, this is a really good program. Larry asked me to go a couple of years ago, and I learned more about Rotary that day than I had any previous time, or the whole previous time. And it's really, really good, especially if you're new to Rotary in the last 2 or 3 years, because you'll get really a huge amount of information. It's September the 8th. It's going to be at the Wicker Civic Center, and we need at least 4 people from our club. So think about it. We will pay the registration, which is $90. So you'll have to figure out if you're working, you know, your vacation day or whatever, but it won't cost you anything, and that includes a lunch. So be thinking about it. And what's the deadline, Tommy, on getting the information?
I'm not sure. If you go to the district website,
Right.
you click on go to calendar, click on the site, and you can register. You have to register through RLIC. So I think the deadline is probably going to be like September 2nd, 3rd, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
But it's going to fill up because I've already had people from other areas.
Oh, good.
Southern Pines is coming up.
So there are going to be other people.
Oh yeah, it will only accept 30. It's supposed to be put, you know. So.
Well, if we find out early that it's going to be a lot of people, could they offer?
We might could.
All right, two?
No.
Several of us would do that.
Yeah, 2 is gonna probably be in the spring, I hope.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't do it, but that's like every 6 months, so. But it's the closest you'll ever get one right here in your hometown.
Right.
Right here in Sanford, so. Take advantage of it. It's a great class.
And Tommy, you want to mention the new president-elect of Rotary International passed away? Did you read that?
Yes, I saw it. I didn't know it. And,
Yeah, he was from Uganda,
Yeah.
and he had surgery here in the U.S. and had complications. So we're going to have to get another Rotary International president for next year.
David Morse.
David Morris.
He's zealous.
I think David seconded that. I think they got the rest of it.
The other thing I want everybody to be aware of is our district governor will be here, and he will be the program on August the 17th, Lloyd Navarro. So put that in your calendar, and you can look forward to that. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Chris, and he's going to introduce our speaker.
Thank you. All right, so as the incoming president-elect, I knew that putting together the speakers was going to be something I had to do. And Keisha may not believe this, but she was number one on my list all along. And the reason for that is that my children, my wife and I have had 3 children that had either gone through or are going through the early college program. And everywhere I've gone over the last 5 years since we put our first child into the program, when we talk about high school, people, well, do they go to Lee County or do they go to Southern? Well, they don't. They go to Lee Early College. And then I explain what the early college is, and it's amazing to me how many people in this county don't have any idea that it's the 3rd high school, that it's the only A school of the bunch, and what the program does. We've had an amazing experience with LEC. Keisha is a teacher from Long Island originally. She has 2 kids and came here. Were you in the district before you went to San Lee as the vice principal?
No.
No. So she took a job as a vice principal at San Lee, and I got to know her. And in fact, I had forgotten about it until we sat here, and we actually ran a mud race together several years ago. And if I remember correctly, she beat me back, so she's got that going for her. But this past year, she was chosen to succeed the outgoing principal at LEC and took over mid-year. This is the beginning of her first year at the school, and we're really fired up and excited about what her plans are. So she's going to tell you a little bit about herself, a whole lot about LEC, and hopefully you learned something today. Keisha Durr. Oh, I'll take it.
Well, thank you for that introduction. I think you kind of gave like half of my presentation just like where I'm from and
Sorry.
what I did. So some of it might be a little repetitive now. I am originally from Long Island, New York. I attended East Carolina University. I went into my undergraduate degrees in broadcasting actually, but that didn't really work out. So I went back and decided I wanted to teach, which was always kind of my plan B. It worked out to be an amazing thing. It should have always been my plan A. Going back, I taught special education at Douglasburg High School for 8 years in Fayetteville before entering the Sandhills Leadership Academy. I was then selected to interview here in Lee County, and I got the job at San Lee, and I've been here now for 4 years. I was recently promoted in March to principal at Lee Early College, which has been an incredible experience. I've spent the last few months just kind of in an observation mode and getting to know our staff and our students a little bit, and trying to decide the direction that we want to take Lee Early College. For those of you that don't know, and there's some facts and figures here on the brochures, Lee Early College was created in 2006. It is funded by the Collaborative and Innovative High Schools program from DPI. It used to be part of the New Schools project, but that has kind of gone away. We are located on the campus of CCCC. Our students have the opportunity to earn a high school diploma and an associate's degree in 5 years. Many of our students do it in 4. We've even had some to do it in 3. It is an accelerated program. Every high school course offered at Lee Early College is an honors course. Students have to apply and be selected to attend our school. It is the 3rd high school in Lee County. And it is the only A school. We earned an A status last year, and we are hoping to earn a second A status this year. Our scores look really, really good, so I'm really, really optimistic that that will happen again. We have an amazing staff. I really, really am blessed to be the principal of such an amazing high school. The talent from our teachers is incredible. We have a very, very young staff. I laugh because I never thought I would be the oldest person in the building at 36 years old, but we don't have a teacher in there over 30. But they are incredible. They work tirelessly. They are incredibly focused, incredibly dedicated. Because we have such a small staff, they are responsible pretty much for doing everything, whether it's running clubs or supervising, having duties, maintaining. They do all the registration. They are just an incredibly dedicated and talented bunch, and LEC is everything that it is because of them. I just get to lead it, which is great. This year, our focus is really, my focus personally is on building those relationships with our staff and our students, but also the community. I share Chris's sentiment that not enough people know who we are and what we do, and I'm hoping to change that, and this is the year to change it. So far we have started with our social media presence. We have revamped our website. It's currently under construction, but it's already changed so much. We are increasing our social media presence as well. I have dedicated staff to help make that happen. This year we will be reaching out and doing some community projects. While I was at San Lee, I started a club, a ladies leadership club called Sweet 16 that simultaneously learned some leadership skills and social skills at school, but also once a month went out and volunteered in the community. I will be bringing that back. We actually partnered with Westfield Nursing Home and Floyd Knight, and I'll be bringing that back to LEC so that our students don't just develop the academic skills that they need to succeed, but they develop those world and leadership skills that they need as well. We're also looking to increase our partnership with CCCC. It's amazing how independent we are, even though we are located right on the same campus. So our focus is to build that relationship up, utilize those resources a little bit more, and kind of work together to increase our program. We also are looking to expand our extracurricular activities. We want our kids to have the full high school experience, even though they're at a very small high school. Have I missed anything?
Well, talk a little bit about the registration process and
Okay.
how many kids get in.
Currently, we have about 300 students. Our incoming freshman class is the largest freshman class that we've ever accepted. We accepted 90 students, which is a lot for LEC. The registration process includes an interview, an essay, we actually do a parent interview as well. So it's an arduous process. It's definitely selective. And when we look at kids, we're looking at kids who want to be there first and foremost. I think people who hear about us think that we're looking at grades. We do look at that, but that is secondary to what we're looking for. We're looking for students who are motivated. Being located on a college campus means a lot of independence. Kids have to be mature enough to handle our program. They have to be willing to be able to make that transition from 8th grade to college, which is a lot. If you think about it, that's a really big jump from 8th grade to college. Now, I say that our students don't start taking college classes until about the 10th grade, but they eat lunch on a college campus. They are interacting with other college students just by going to the library, by going to the gym, all of those things. They have to conduct themselves as college students would. So when you think about it in terms of that, they have to go from 8th grade to thinking like a college student. That tells you why it's so important. It's not so much about the grades, it's about the maturity level, it's about the motivation. This year we are adding another component to our acceptance process, and that will be a parent visit. We are asking that all applicants, their parent come out and visit. I've made some dates available, but parents can choose any time that they want. They call and make an appointment. And the reason for that is because we want parents to see and understand where we're located, one, and what that routine looks like. Because most parents, when you think of sending your kids off to high school, you're thinking about the traditional model. Well, it's really important that people understand that our model is really different. And again, they have to be able to make that transition from 8th grade to college. So we want our parents to really understand that as well.
What do you do about the kids, young guys who want to play football, baseball, basketball?
Well, currently, we don't offer sports. That is the downside to our program. I do have hopes that one day that may change. I really would like to see that change. But honestly, at this point in time, it's something that they have to make a decision about. One of the things that helps kind of put that in perspective is if you're a student who is a great athlete and you're looking maybe to get a college scholarship, you're competing with all of these other athletes. If you attend our program, you're knocking out 2 years of college before you earn a scholarship. It's 2 years of college done with. So when we put it in that perspective, it's a little bit of an easier choice.
Have y'all ever thought about letting them continue to learn out of their high schools?
I have.
There are some,
Controversy?
yeah, there's some machinations have to be done. And frankly, she's not tooting her own horn yet. I think Ms. Durr is more interested in expanding and trying to figure out how to make that work than the outgoing administration was. So maybe it was something that comes to pass, because there's been 2 ways that have been explored. One would be for the school to stand up its own programs,
Right.
which is probably not cost effective. The other would be for them to play with either Southern or Lee County, but then you've got some real issues with that. As, you know, are they going to play in the district they live in? Do they get the choice? Are they all going to go to Lee County because it's so close? So different early colleges, and I know we were talking about this earlier, Keisha's in the midst of sort of investigating how other places make it work, but it is a possibility. We just haven't cracked the code yet. So now that there's a motivation and a desire to make it happen, I think that we get it done.
So this year, my focus, as I stated earlier, is really to build that trust and relationships within the community before I kind of start asking for new and exciting and controversial things. But I am. This year I have set up, so far we've got 3, but it's my hope that we will go on more than 3. We're looking to tour a bunch of early colleges and see how they do their sports program. That's one thing we'll be looking for. Also, we'll be looking at funding how do other counties and other early colleges. So
How long has the early college program been around?
Since
I was a little-
2006.
I mean, yours is, but I mean, the whole, the process in the country, has it been around a long time?
It's been around a while. I don't have that exact time frame, but it's
I
been
was from
it's
Atlanta and
a
also
long time.
St. Louis, and I'm not aware of any college or high schools that did that.
Yeah, it kind of came about when, I guess around the time I graduated from high school in 98, 2000 era, when the state kind of went away from that tracking, where you had the high school diplomas that were more geared toward career and tech ed and versus college prep. And then you started seeing some of these other programs pop up so that kids had more of a choice in the type of preparation they were getting. Because at the public school level, it kind of shifted to everybody getting prepared for that college track. So around that time is when it was, yeah.
How many of the young people get both degrees?
About 60%, and that has increased from 48% when we first started to currently around 60%.
So I'm in Chatham County, and my daughter goes to the charter school, and she'll graduate, and when she does, she'll have her first 2 years of college completed there.
Yes.
But we don't call that early college, so is there a difference?
It is. So we are actually, again, situated on a college campus. Part of the difference is also in who we are attracting. We are looking and actively seeking first-generation college students. 50% of our population is low-income and minority and first-generation college students. So it's a little bit different focus. And I will say that at the other 2 high schools here, you can earn college credit, but the main difference is that you actually have the associate's degree.
And that is offered at the charter school.
Okay.
too.
versus say a dual enrollment is what we call it in Florida, dual enrollment,
Right.
or even, I don't know if this is available in North Carolina, but in Florida, you could do early admission, so you could apply and basically skip, which is what I did, skip your senior year and enroll in a university, and then, then
Yeah,
whatever.
at-
And I just took those credits elsewhere, but you don't have to stay there,
You're right. Do you guys aspire to larger size as far as other students? I mentor at Greenwood, and the striking thing about Greenwood is it's a high proportion of low-income children there, is that their families aren't looking towards going to college. They're just not focused on it. And this is really kind of a great way to get them into that mindset. And I just wondered, is that something that you could grow to be bigger? Because it sure makes a lot of sense to.
That's a difficult question to answer, only because our expansion is directly tied to school budget.
Yeah, correct.
That's part of the issues that we're facing this year. We accepted a really large number of students, but the money wasn't necessarily there yet in order to accommodate them. We have added kind of a pod. I've moved our office into this kind of remote pod attached to the building to make 2 more classrooms to accommodate these students, but we don't have any more teachers, so our class sizes are going up. So honestly, in the next few years, we're going to be looking to kind of decrease so we can get back to the early college model, which is very small class sizes, and then also do some fundraising so that maybe we can expand once the staff is in place.
Yeah, I have some private fundraising as
Yes.
well as public.
Yep.
That's terrific.
Yep.
Does your funding work like the traditional school systems based on the average head count for the first 20 days of class and that sort of thing? And which county they're situated from and the different county funding?
It does. There is also additional funding from the Comprehensive and Innovative High Schools grant.
First of all, I want to commend you for being in the education field, and especially 8 years in special ed. You obviously are a special person to do that. Do you take applicants from both Southern Lee and Lee Senior?
Yes, so students are admitted in 8th grade. So we recruit at all 3 middle schools.
So, okay.
Yeah, we take students, we also take students that are homeschooled. We've taken students from private colleges, private schools as well.
And so how does the process work? Do they finish their high school classes before they start taking the college classes?
It's
Or is it-
simultaneous.
Okay.
And right now, one of the things that we're revamping is our track and how things, as things change in public education and what classes are required. I know in the last 3 years, there have been additional requirements, an extra science here, an extra social studies there, that has kind of shaped the way that things happen. It's my hope that we're gonna start looking at as junior year, kind of as the declaration year, where students will actually get to formally say, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and have those high school requirements knocked out by their 10th grade year.
So when they finish that
That's our hope.
and they apply to a university, they go in as a junior?
Yes.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Like a 2+2 program.
Yes.
Yeah, well, just a comment, and this is for John and also Taylor, who's the president of the senior club. If you ever think of a way to ask for volunteers from service clubs or whatever, a lot of us would be able to, because
Absolutely. I can tell you right now, we are looking for volunteers, we are looking for projects, yes.
Experience, and I don't think a lot of the kids ever get exposed to that. They don't know that it's really a lot about hard work and interpersonal skills.
Yes.
It's not about who you
Yes.
are and where you came from.
Yeah. My philosophy is that education is not just about what happens in the classroom. Education really, truly is preparing students for life beyond the classroom walls, beyond college. And college is great if you can get there and you have the opportunity to go, it's wonderful. But too many of our students get there and can't handle it because they don't have the leadership and the social skills and those skills that are needed in order to succeed at college and beyond. And so it is my goal that our students learn those skills while they're, it's just as important as learning the algebra and the science. They have to learn how to lead. They have to learn how to interact with their community in order to survive.
Can you talk about graduation rates compared to the regular high school? And of those who finish, how many of those transfer to a 4-year degree?
The exact numbers are in that brochure. This year, we had something like 57 kids graduate. The average class size used to be around 60. Our dropout rate is comparable to the other high schools. It's slightly higher, it's maybe 1 or 2% higher. We are looking to increase that. We should have 100%. That's something that I definitely want to see happen. I also want to increase our association, our graduates who graduate with an associate's degree from current 60%. I'd like to see it at about 80 to 85%. Our kids, again, are competing with the other comprehensive high schools, and with the establishment of the IB program, AP, and some of the other routes, kids can go to traditional high school and earn those college credits. One thing that we're also looking at, we have a unique program that the other high schools don't have, and that is an associate's in engineering. That is something new. So that is something that we've always had it. Let me say it's not new, but it will be a new focus for us as a draw, and that will be a big difference. Because there is a different kind of pathway that students need to take. That's something they're interested in.
Is 8th grade a one-shot deal, or can they enter later?
Yes. Yes, it is a one-shot deal.
And there are a lot of tears shed when the notices come back to the schools and all that. My wife is part of that process, and it's something.
Yeah, and currently, once they're in, they're in. There is no going back. We're looking to change that a little bit because it's really hard to ask an 8th grader to make this life-changing decision without a change. I'm calling it a course correction. I know for myself, just going into college, and how many of us, started out at one college, maybe changed it to a different college, or started off in one major and changed to a different major. And it's really hard to ask a 13-year-old to make this commitment with not having the experience and ask them to stay there no matter what. So I'm hoping that through some other processes that we're putting in place, they'll, at the end of their the end of their sophomore year, they'll have that opportunity. If they need to go back, maybe they'll be able to go back.
John, would early college qualify for a Rotary Act?
I would think it would. We have a club
No,
here.
sir. No, sir.
And they don't?
It's already in the process. Rotary Act would have to be the community college, early college. Mike can qualify for Interact. We've been looking into that for the last 7 months, but we're getting some pushback from the community college. It wouldn't be a Rotary Act, it would be Interact, because they're high
To
school.
be interactive, yeah.
Yeah. Rotary Act would be the community college.
That's right. Keisha, I want to make a comment. I had visited with your predecessor, the first principal, a couple years ago, and it was a quasi-parent interview. Even though I called him and said I wanted to come in, I had a 8th grader at the time. Turns out it wasn't for him. He is at Lee Senior right now, incoming junior. And athletics, Doug, was the reason why, was the primary reason why.
I think you're going to struggle with that one.
And so when I went into Lee Early College, pretty well unannounced, the enthusiasm and maturity of the students was exemplary. It was fantastic. The staff were also fantastic. And the reason why I said I went in there cold was they didn't necessarily know that I was coming. They didn't say, Mr. Ramsberger's coming, let's put on our maturity hats. No, had nothing to do with that. So the organic enthusiasm and maturity that the kids showed was fantastic, which is why I wanted it so bad for my kids. So you're doing a very good job.
Thank you.
It's an outstanding program.
That is definitely something I think that does set us apart. As
Oh,
I
yeah.
said, our staff is incredibly talented. They're young,
Yeah.
they're entertaining. And I think one of the big differences, a lot of times we get kind of labeled as like, oh, you have the good kids.
Yeah.
In truth,
In truth, you actually don't know.
our kids are kids, right?
They really are,
And we have the same kids that really the other kids schools have.
Oh, yeah, you do.
The major difference, though, is that the expectations are different.
Right.
When you step foot in LEC, you're expected to succeed.
That's right.
Everybody expects success. The kids expect success, and the staff does as well. Parents do as well. And we function as a unit. And my goal is to build that unit even stronger and really get that enthusiasm lasting from freshman year all the way to associate's degree in hand.
Do you recruit your teachers, you recruit them from around the country, or do they come to you or you go to them?
Well, it's kind of a combination right now. I am actually in the process of hiring my first teacher at LEC, and it's not as easy a process as I thought it was going to be. We're looking for a science teacher, if anybody knows, if anybody is interested. So yes, we are looking all over.
Is a master's degree required?
Yes, yes. I actually am interviewing a girl in Florida tomorrow. So.
The reason I ask is I teach at a junior college in upstate New York.
Oh, okay.
And we have a lot of these high school kids. I agree with you.
Here's his resume right here.
Hey,
He'll be permanent here next year. So.
we have 2 days to school starts.
I'll be honest with you, science is not my thing, so, but we have, I can see the difference between the high school kids coming right out of high school to junior college. Very immature. I mean, we can stay here hours, tell stories, but the whole idea is, but my point was that in my field up there, I work with teachers who want to become teachers. My teacher wannabes is what I call them. So I have some incredibly good teachers. I mean, people that are phenomenal now when I had them. So I'm going to keep you in mind.
Okay.
I constantly tell them, go to North Carolina. We want to stay in New York for it's too cold.
Any last questions? I do want to say, first of all, round of applause. I do want to add, to echo some of what John said, my family, my wife and I have ties to LEC, obviously, because we have kids to go through. My wife's brother was actually in the inaugural class at LEC, he was last year's keynote speaker at the graduation, but he went on and was the prime example. He came from a very difficult situation, went through LEC, got accepted to Duke, and has gone on and is in a master's program now and all the rest of that. So this program, there were some questions asked about the sports, and it's like, well, that may be a problem with some of these kids. It is, it absolutely is, but there's still, every applicant doesn't get into the program. So yeah, if sports were in place, it would be great for the kids that are there, but as a recruiting type situation, all it would mean is more kids wouldn't get into the program. And when Keisha said that the expectations there are different, that's not lip service. That's what separates the school, is that academic achievement is expected by the faculty and by the kids. It's kind of in reverse in public schools to a certain extent with kids and the way it is. But from the time they show up there, they're there to work and they know it, and everybody has to kind of get sucked along in that vacuum. So it's a really great program. Thanks for coming out and sharing with us. And that's it.
Thanks for having. I did want to say one last thing.
Sure.
We are having Cobra kickoff for our freshman class, and
All right.
I know you'll be there.
I'll be there.
But it is open to the community. We are having a LEC family picnic on next Thursday from 10 to 12. So just come by and say hello and check us out.
I learned a lot today. Ed Missler, thank you so much for doing the 50-50. You want to bring that in?
Yeah, sure. Would somebody do this next week? I might not be here. So.
I'll do it. Okay.
We'll let her.
Yeah.
Keisha,
Draw a number here and
Read it out.
33051
Add that.
B
1-8.
8.
180.
Okay. That means you have to lead us in the four-way test and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Is it the truth? Is it
We're all concerned, with a goodwill and friendships, will be beneficial to all concerned. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And John Sauls will be here next week as our speaker.
Oh, you're welcome.